Yo, what's good, y'all? It's probably in there, bit man. DJ in there, motherfucker. Today, we obviously got to talk about what transpired as of now, recently. I guess you can't. Well, you say last night, as of the time of this recording. Last night, we did indeed see the final match of John Cena's career, man. And we're gonna cut straight to the chase. Spoiler alert, we're gonna cut straight to the chase. He indeed tapped out, man. And I get it. I know a lot of people. Oh, I forgot to put my mouse back in here. I understand a lot of people weren't feeling it. And to be truthful with you, I wasn't feeling it either. But we gonna get to that. That's the little hook, line, and sinker there. But let's go through the show first, and then I'll give my thoughts on why I don't think that what's the word I'm looking for. I don't think that was the way to go. Like, I don't think that was, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, started off the night. And I figured they would start with this match because part of me was like, okay, they're probably going to do the thing where they start with a big match and end with a big match. And that's how they did it. They started off live with the WWE champion Oba Femi versus Cody Rhodes. Or I'm sorry, Cody Rhodes, the WWE champion, versus the NXT champion Oba Femi. There we go. I think I said it wrong. Let's do it. So this match started exactly how I predicted it being my predictions. I'm like, okay, Cody's obviously the better wrestler, more experienced guy. But because Oba has experience and combine that with the fact that he has the power, size, and strength advantage, that means that he's probably going to spend the first part of this match throwing Cody around. Because even though Cody's more experienced, Oba's at the end of the day is still a bigger dude. So he's going to take control of this match early on. And that's exactly what happened. So the match was going well. You know, notable things was I think Cody went for a dive and Oba got back in the ring as he was running to the ropes and got hit with a spine buster. That was nice. Crowd was getting with it, and they was also with it. They obviously sung Cody's song, but they were also with Oba stuff doing the ho. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. If you don't, you're slow. The man carries aura with the freaking, you know what I'm saying, the bounce in his walk, the pep in his step. They can obviously sense the aura. You know what I'm saying? They know that he him. You know what I'm saying? So glad to see the crowd get in with Oba. The guy looks, I mean, he has the height, the size, the charisma, the aura, the believability, the wrestling ability. Like, he has all of what it takes to be a top guy on the main roster, like, tomorrow. Like, it wouldn't take, like, if they wanted to move him up realistically, now they could, especially on SmackDown where they need some, like, new faces they ain't seen before. For sure. So shout out to John Cena, first off, for even wanting to showcase younger talent on this card and filling up the card with things that are like purposeful and meaningful for the future of the business rather than just putting random matches. Well, random matches as far as like, rather than it just being, it's almost like the storylines took a break because if this is going to be a John Cena last ever, you know, match, PLE, well, not PLE, match, show, you know what I'm saying, all that type of stuff, you want to fit John Cena's vision. And John Cena's vision is to prep for the, or to showcase the future of the business. So shout out to him for having that idea and all that type of stuff. But anyway, Cody hit a Cody cutter on the Oba and he kicked out, and then there was one he hit like from the top rope. That, you know, that was nice. So the match was going really well. It was a really fun match. By this point, I gave it like, I think it was like a 7 out of 10. And then Drew interrupted by just beating up Cody. Like, it wasn't even like the referee's back was turned and he didn't see it and he tried to call. It was just straight up. Nope. They just, he beat up Cody and that was the end of the match. And then it ended with Oba Femi basically yanking Drew off of Cody and going like, what the heck, man? Like, you know, you just caused me my match. And then Drew tried to hit him with something. And I think Oba hit him with a choke slam. Well, I think it was either Oba hit him with a choke slam and Cody hit him with a Cody cutter. Oh, no, I think it was Oba shoved him into where Cody was going to hit a Cody cutter. Then he hit a choke slam. And that's how it ended. And they both raised each other's hands and their belts in the air and stuff like that. And that's how it ended. And 7 out of 10 match. It was really fun. It was going really well. The theme of the night, I felt when it came to the matches, was that they were very short. Like, and I get it. John was obviously always going to have like the longest match. But it was to the point where these matches felt like they were going by so, or I can't say felt like, they were going by quick. Like that was to me the real like issue was like, dang, these matches are going by like record time. Like it's like we in a rush to get this over. But yeah, Drew coming out there interrupting, I was fine with because they had to protect Oba and Cody. Because I said this in my review. I think I said this in my review, or I might have said it off camera. But I was like, if you have Oba beat Cody, that wouldn't make any sense because then you couldn't logically explain how Oba's going to lose that NXT championship to anybody in NXT. I just beat the face of the company and the WWE champion, and I'm losing to, Javon Evans on NXT. Like, you wouldn't be able to logically explain how this guy who just beat the face of the company and the WWE champion is now losing the guys in NXT. How? Like, how do you make that make any sense? Like, how would he lose his NXT championship to somebody like a Javon Evans when he just got done beating the face of the whole operation? Like, you couldn't have logically explained that. So that's why they had to bail him out, and they couldn't have their world champion and Cody lose. So they bailed him out, which I was fine with the ending. It just came quick. I just didn't like how quick they got to the ending. But anyway, next match. I was 1-0 in predictions by this point. I did say Cody would win, and I did predict that Drew would. There was a possibility he would get involved, and that would be how he won. Moving on to the next match, Soruka versus Bayley, man. And I was the one who in my prediction said that Soruka is going to obviously show her athleticism. And I said she's the only young talent on this card that's actually going to get a win. And I was right. Soruka got the win by doing a soul snatcher where she kind of does like a front, like she runs to the corner, does a front flip and catches the person into a cutter. And that's what she did to Bayley, and she dragged Bayley in the center ring because she was like kind of almost out of the ring, but after getting hit by her finisher, the Soul Snatcher, kind of a crazy name still, but Bayley was like about to fall out of the ring where she couldn't get the cover, but then she yanked her back in, and that led to Bayley kind of no selling the Soul Snatcher because right after that she went right into a roll up. When she finally got her, like pulled her in the ring, she kind of ended up getting the roll up, and that was like a 1-2 count, and then Soruka rolled Bayley up and got the 1-2-3, and that's how it ended. And Zarya, her partner Soruka, and Lyra Valkyria, Bayley's partner, they all raised each other's arms and did the John Cena salute, you know what I'm saying, all that good stuff. So that's how that ended. And then we got to the co-main of it. That match I gave like a 6 out of 10 because, again, it was just really short. Like, these matches were fun, but they were going by so fast. And again, I get they wanted to give the time to John and Gunther, but golly, so much time that these matches were like, felt like all they were under like 10 minutes. Like, that's where it's like, golly. But anyway, moving on. The best match of the night, I felt, probably from a bell-to-bell standpoint of just two guys wrestling. And that was Leon Slater and Javon Evans versus AJ Styles and Dragon Lee for the WWE World Tag Team Championships. Great match. I gave it like an 8 out of 10. Obviously, like I said, the only criticism of it is that it wasn't longer, but they started this match out hot, which was kind of like a nice little shocker. I think Javon like jumped out of the ring. Oh, I think they hit a super kick or something like that, and Javon jumped out of the ring like he usually does. And then Leon Slater did like a leaping, kind of front, senton, somersault, whatever you want to call it, over the top of the post. And then there was a spot where Dragon Lee hit a Hurricane Rana on Leon Slater, which led to Leon Slater, because he was standing on the apron, got Hurricane Rana off the apron right into a Styles Clash, but he didn't get to hit the Styles Clash because AJ got stopped by Javon Evans. And then I think Javon did do that spot where he hit the like moonsault where he like leaps on the bottom rope and then like flips and does the moonsault to the outside. I think that happened. And then we got a little near fall action when Javon delivered, I think it was the OG cutter where he hits his version of the Cody, he hits his Cody cutter version of it. He hits that move. I think it was either a frog splash or it was that move. OG cutter rolls him to where Leon Slater can hit his move, which was the Swanton 450, where he basically does the swan dive that Jeff does, but it ends up in a 450 rather than a Swanton bomb. And that got broken up. That was a nice near fall there. And then the match ended with AJ attempting a phenomenal forearm, but either he slipped on the rope or maybe he fell or something like that. I think it might have been a mistake, might have been a botch, I'm not sure. But yeah, he clearly like fell and missed the rope or whatever the case may be. And So I don't know if it was like this was always going to be the finish or whatever, but whether they improvised it or not, Leon Slater capitalized on AJ's messing up by immediately rolling him up once he saw that he failed. So that was good on him for improvising that. And then AJ, I think Leon Slater was going for something off the top rope, and it got countered into a power bomb, and then which automatically set him up for the Styles Clash, and AJ hit the Styles Clash on Leon Slater for the 1, 2, 3. And they was out of there, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if maybe it was them, but I think they all hit the "You Can't See Me." I don't know if that was them or a different match, but they hit the "You Can't See Me" at the end, and everybody, showed their hand in respect because they were all baby faces, so they raised their arms up and stuff like that. And shout out to Leon Slater, man. Being in TNA, getting this spotlight was dope. And also him being able to like get in there and mix it up with AJ Styles, man, is obviously dope for pretty much any up and coming TNA wrestler. If you get to wrestle AJ Styles, like that's big deal for you. So shout out to them. Like I said, match was like an 8 out of 10. The only thing that would have made it would have been to me 5-star class. If that would have been given like 10 more minutes, we could have been talking about a 5-star classic dang there. But anyway, just go show you how all of these guys, especially these 21-year-olds, I mean, they're only a year older than me, and Javon Evans and Leon Slater, just to go show you how good they've gotten really quickly, rather than taking a long time to grow into it or whatever. They've gotten for the most part, they've gotten stuff down packed to where they can put on these great matches. Like, that's dope to see these people learn as quick as they have, because the quicker you can learn, the more great matches you can have throughout your career, no matter how long it ends up being. Anyway. The last match, man. You see the shirt. The moment you'll all have been waiting for is John Cena for the last time, man. And before that, there was a little comedy segment where Miz was basically mad that he wasn't a part of the card because he was one of the biggest heels during John Cena's time when he made it in WrestleMania with him and beat him. And that led out R-Truth basically saying that you messed with nigga Aldis's balls, playing around with the fact that he messed with the ball that they choose in the little thing when they hand pick whoever is next up and they take their little name out the little plastic ball thing. So he was making fun out of that. And then when Miz opened the ball that R-Truth gave him, it read out Joe Hendry, and obviously say his name and he appears. Crowd was with it. Shout out to Joe Hendry being over with the audience. We saw it at the Royal Rumble this year, but still it's dope to see it. And he did his turnaround thing. He did his whole, entrance type thing. And Miz got hit with I think they planted I forgot what move it was, but they hit the Miz. They basically knocked the Miz down. They both, R-Truth and Joe Hendry, did the "You Can't See Me" 5-knuckle shuffle action. And then Joe Hendry hit him with the, I think it's the standing ovation, where he like basically does the palm, where your palm is in the guy's where his stomach at, and you kind of lift him in the air like a choke slam, and put him in the center, plants him down in the center of the ring. And they both, that was it. So yeah, it was just him and R-Truth, like I said, did the little spin around thing, and all that. So just a little comedy segment to lighten up the fact that we were going to be disappointed in the main event. Main event time, Gunther comes out there, gets heavy amount of boos. His music hits and all that, gets heavy amount of boos, which this is where I understood. And like, it would have been cool to see somebody different, but I had no problem ever with it being Gunther as his last opponent, because we all knew whoever John's last opponent was, it had to be a heel, because if they would have put another babyface in there, that would have been stupid, because they're going to obviously cheer John over them. So that made sense to put a heel in that spot. So they put Gunther in that spot, got nuclear boos. It was great. And then John Cena, they milked it for a while, like panning it to the crowd and letting the crowd say Cena and chant his name. And then they play his music. And I ain't gonna lie, when John's music played and he came out there for his entrance, and I was live, by the way, I forgot to say, I was live, so you can watch all this back. I was live for John Cena's last match. So you can go check the live right now. You know what I'm saying? For those who didn't think I posted a video today, you can actually check the live stream. That's what I was doing. I was live on YouTube. So anyway, as I was watching, when his entrance music played, I can't lie, your boy was like I had to throw something away. I was throwing a pizza box away. I ain't gonna lie. When I walked away from the camera to throw that away, your boy did cry. I ain't gonna, not like the heavy cry, but like the like, man, like the, when you get emotional a little bit. It ain't like that heavy boo-hoo cry, but it's like that, Like, dang, it got to me. Like that cry of like, it got to me, you know what I'm saying? But it ain't nothing wiping your face can't fix. I ain't gonna lie. Your boy did cry, man. I mean, cause like I say, before I get into it, um, obviously for those who don't know, being in that, especially if you like me and you like 20 or 21, 22, like all of us obviously grew up on John Cena, and he was my first favorite wrestler, man. I was a big fan of John Cena when I was a kid. He was my favorite wrestler when I was a kid. And you must know how good I must have felt as a kid, because the fact that John Cena was getting booked to win so many matches and he was my hero, like that made him the most like credible hero ever. So that I was having a good time. And I always said, man, I was so attached to John Cena as a kid to the point where like when he would lose, it was like just not a good day. Like it was not a good day if John Cena lost. Like that's how drawn I was to John Cena, to the point where like no matter who he went against, I would always pick him to win. Like that type of connection. So childhood, superhero for sure. And even out when I got older, like even when I got older and got back into wrestling, I still had that same love for John Cena. I never had that. I was never the Cena sucks part of the crowd. Even when I got older, I still was like, I loved it, bro. I just loved it. I just loved the character. Never had a problem with it. And just felt like, and I will say, I could understand why some people might have been like, oh, it wasn't cool or whatever, but I still liked it. Even as I got older, I still loved John Cena, still loved it. And yeah, I just was never one of those people that resented it. Even when I got older and like watched it back, I didn't go, oh, this is corny now. Like, no, it was like, how some people are, oh, you think it's cool as a kid, but then you get old. Nope. Even when I got older, I still didn't think it was corny. I still thought it was dope. Promos were great. His storytelling was great. Everything obviously wasn't perfect. There were things that went wrong and mistakes made and blah, 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 blah. But still, I messed with the character heavy. I agree it probably wouldn't have fit too well in previous eras. But other than that, I always loved John Cena. But I had to throw that tidbit out there, man. But yeah. We get to the main event. Like I said, I did cry during the entrance, but I kind of walked off camera a little bit because I actually did have to throw some away. But when I did it, that's when I kind of did one of these. I hit one of these right here. I hit like the. I did one of those. Like it wasn't like the. It was like the. It was like the shoot, man. Like it got to me. Like it was that type of cry. But yeah, I wiped my face and I was good. But after that, I was fine. Like, I wasn't like an emotional mess the whole match. It was just the entrance. For whatever reason, I really started feeling it there when he actually, like, came out there. Like, that was crazy. But he obviously talked to Stu, said, we're going to do it one more time. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And the entrance was also, they did the kind of Undertaker blackout first, and then they played, like, they blacked it out, like, the lights and all that, and then they played the music and all that. So, yep. And it was dope seeing that silhouette of, like, his, logo doing like this right here. On the Titantron, like that was really cool, symbolizing obviously it was the last match. But anyway, I'm gonna give my respect to John Cena after I say what I gotta say. Whew. Match with Gunther, I give it like a 8.5, 9. I think it was like a 8.5, 9 out of 10 match. The match, they told the story of, at first John was getting offense early, and then Gunther obviously eventually slowed him down. He didn't actually do a lot of chops in this match. You can tell he was probably him and John talked about beforehand of if he was allowed to really do a whole lot of chops, and I don't think he was. Because if you watch this match, he was chopping them, but like it wasn't like how he would, like he was like, as in he still had his chest red, but it wasn't like how he would deliver in his match that we know, where it's like a plethora of chops. It was like a few. Yeah, he delivered a few chops in this match. And yeah, that's what it was. So there was early in the match where he was trying to deliver a chop early, and like Cena like caught it, and he fired back with obviously the shoulder tackles and the "You Can't See Me" and the 5-knuckle shuffle, and I think Gunther escaped the AA, and I think he hit a total of 2 or 3 5-knuckle shuffles in this match, and he was hitting the like one last time and the "You Can't See Me" for the one last time and all that, and so they did that whole exchange. And there was a point in time where Gunther was just like clotheslining Cena over and over again. Like this is where they were just having him get beat up, where basically Gunther was healing it up with the crowd, and then he constantly kept like clotheslining John Cena back down and all this other stuff. So that was cool. Then there was a spot where I think they went to the floor, and John, I think, got thrown into the steel steps. And then Gunther took the steel steps and like stood on top, put it next to the announce desk, which we all knew where this was going. And Gunther, posing to the crowd that he's beating up John. And then he tries to get John Cena for like a power bomb. And then John counters it, obviously. And as he's standing on top of the steps with Gunther on his shoulders, he jumps off of the steps and delivers the attitude adjustment onto Gunther through the announce table. He rolled. The crowd was up for this whole thing, by the way. Like every match, the crowd was up for. Not as much the Bayley and Soul Ruka match, but they were still oohing and on at that, especially with Soul Ruka's moves and stuff like that she was doing. But anyway, threw Gunther back into the ring for the 1-2, and Gunther kicked out. And then I think there was a Gunther bomb or two, and Cena kicked out of that. There was some choke attempts. John escaped that most of the time. Then there was an AA off the top rope. Gunther kicked out of that. Then there was Gunther trying to deliver the choke, and they did a spot where they teased John not being able to have enough in him. Oh, actually, John Cena brought back the leg drop off the top rope. I forgot to mention that. You know where he used to go to the top rope and jump off and do the leg drop across the back of the guy's neck? He brought that move out for the last year. I love it. Because he didn't do that the whole retirement tour, I don't think. So he brought it out for his last match. That was really cool. He did that, and that got a kick out. And then I think he hit another, when he escaped one of the sleeper holds, he hit an attitude adjustment, still wasn't enough. And then more sleeper attempts. Like I said, they did the thing where they tease the arms dropping. If it drops 3 times, then it's automatic, like, hey, he can't compete. But they dropped it twice. And when he was going to drop it a third time, Cena did this, like, because of the 3-second 10 that he does in his entrance. But also it's funny because he was going to drop his arm for a third time. So he does that, fights out. He gets out temporarily or whatever. But then Gunther just hammers the elbows down on the side of Cena's face and locks back in the choke. So he locked in this choke plenty of freaking times. Like, they really teased it from a storyline standpoint that, like, this guy's gonna tap. And what we ended up getting was Cena was in the chokehold. Like I said, he had gotten hit with a bunch of elbows right back into the choke. And it was just funny because you could tell Cena would, like, at times he was communicating with him. Like, when there were times where, like, Cena was telling him to, like, jump on his back, like, for the choke and stuff like that. So I was just thinking that was funny. But yeah, speaking of, Cena did lock in the STF at one point. So that was another one of his moves that he did. But yeah, as he got elbowed in the chokehold and everything, he does this thing where he's like trying to fight, he's trying to fight, and then he does this. Like, he hits the smile, like, I know it's over, it's been a good run or whatever. He smiles like this, and then he hits he freaking, like, he, not like this, like a traditional tap is this. He hit this, like like it's over. He tapped out, bro. And Gunther wins. Crowd was shocked. I don't even think they booed initially. I think they were just like, oh, like, what is going on? And then Gunther is, like, obviously smirking, and he wins, and he walks out of the ring. Obviously, he rolls out of the ring and walks up the rampway, and the crowd is literally booing and chanting, bullshit. Like, they're mad, bro. They're, like, mad. And actually, before Cena tap, they were actually chanting, don't tap out. Or don't give up. It was like, don't give up or something like that. They were chanting that before he gave up. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, let me say what happened before I give my thoughts. After that, the whole locker room comes out there, Punk and Cody and all the other stars like Javon Evans and others who was on the card. And there was also some legends like Kurt Angle. Obviously, we know the significance behind that because that was his debut. He had, Mark Henry, RVD, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. It was cool to see him. Even Elias was out there. That was funny. But yeah, throughout the night, they were also playing promo packages of like Taker and Kane and other people that were just significant throughout John's career, giving their thoughts on John Cena. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they played the promo package of like Roman and Brock and all these other people having the thank you Cena signs, and Logan Paul in there and all that, like having the thank you Cena signs. So yeah, Trish Stratus was there too. So it was a lot of different legends and all that. But anyway, everybody comes out there. Triple H, that motherfucker, he comes out there and as Cena's giving like a hug to some of the people that's standing around, and they even do the thing where Cody and Punk, funny enough, more of my childhood, Cody and Punk, the WWE champion, the World Heavyweight champion, both put their belts over John Cena's shoulder, and John raises the belts to both corners, or all 4 of the corners, and when he got to the 4th one, he went to hug Triple H, and the crowd booed. And Triple H, Big smile on his face. I'm like, that motherfucker just know what he did. Um, he hugs John Cena, whatever, and the crowd is booing, and they're booing hard. Like they're booing like nuclear heat, and like I said, the BS chants and all this other stuff, and you suck. I think it was something like that. But yeah. Anyway, Cena basically, you know, hangs it up instead of hangs up the boots. He took the wristbands, the armband, and the shoes, because that's what he wore. And it was funny because some of the fans were chanting jorts, jorts, jorts. But I'm like, y'all, he gotta walk. I know he was naked at the Oscars, but he does have to walk out with pants. Speaking of, we did the full set, by the way. If you didn't know, we did the jorts too for the stream. But anyway, I had tennis shoes on too. Anyway, this is actually the shirt he announced his retirement in initially, so that's significant behind this specific shirt is because this is when he announced his retirement last year at Money in the Bank. So anyway, so yes, Mr. Never Give Up gave up, man. I had it on my goddamn arm, man. It's just the significance of this is just gone, man. Come on, bruh. But anyway, moving on. John goes up to the top of the ramp and says it's been like a pleasure serving, you know, of what, or I think he was like, it's been a pleasure serving the fans over the time, you know, thank you all or whatever. Hits the final salute. He also hit a couple of bows and all that type of stuff. And then he walked up the ramp and faded to black. And that was the end of that. And Triple H was getting all type of heat and boos in the post press conference. And he was like, oh, is that all you guys have or whatever? And I'm like, Triple H, you're not a heel anymore, bro. Take it, like, relax. Like, you ain't him. Like, you was not him, gang. But anyway, last thing I'm gonna say about it, I'm gonna try to keep this in 30 minutes. I wasn't a fan of him tapping out, mainly because of not only because of the whole, like, again, never give up. Anyway, it wasn't just because he's missed the never give up, and that's the whole thing. And some people are, it's apropos because the man who never gave up at the end. And I'm like, pussies. Anyway, softballs. Anyway, I didn't like that at all because I think I was predicting that John would win only because he's never give up, right? So I wasn't thinking that he was ever going to give up. So I was thinking that because of that, that would mean that he would win because, like, okay, if he's not going to give up, and Gunther's whole thing was that I'm going to make you tap. So I was thinking in my head, if he's not going to be able to make him tap, because, I mean, he doesn't give up. So if he's not going to make him tap, I thought that was going to be how Cena wins, right? Gunther gets irritated that he can't make him tap, and boom, Cena wins, and we send the crowd on happy. But that's not what we got. John Cena, I guess he wanted to, well, we know it wasn't his decision, but, you know, he obviously is, which we know that John wants to put the next generation of people over. So I'm not shocked that he lost. I'm shocked that he tapped, because if he would have passed out or got pinned, it would have been different. And the crowd wouldn't have been as visceral either. If he just would have lost, I don't think the crowd would have been as, like, visceral and like, what the heck. But because he specifically tapped, I think that's what really got the toxicity out of the crowd. But anyway, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't a fan of him tapping out. I just felt like not only does it kind of destroy his character even at the end, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it's the end of his career, and like I said, I bet you in their head they were thinking, well, he's not gonna wrestle anybody anymore, so I guess there's fine for him to give up this one time because it's not like he's gonna wrestle anybody else. I bet, and for headlines, I bet you those were the two reasons they had them tap out. But I don't think he should have tapped out, because if anything, in all the legends we've seen beat over the years, like even when they beat, like they didn't even have Goldberg tap out to go Gunther, you know what I'm saying? And you notice how the crowd wasn't visceral then, right? So it's like we've never seen a crowd in such hatred of a guy losing. Like before, they used to just accept that their guy lost and that was it. But this time it was like a hatred towards the Booker, not even Gunther, hate towards Triple H, which is the wrong person to get heat on. But anyway, having that happened, everybody was emotional and all that good stuff. And yeah, that closes the book in the chapter on John Cena's career, man. It is what it is. I understand the business of it. Like the biggest way to get Gunther over is to have him make the guy who never tapped out, you know, tap out or give up, never gives up, end up giving up. So I get the logic behind it. I just wouldn't have done it that way personally. If anything, I would have had him like pass him out that way, you know, because giving up is like, I basically said, hey, I'm ending the match. If I passed out, it's just, okay, you choked me out or you beat me, right? You just beat me. That's different than, oh, I purposely said, hey, let's end the match. Like that's more voluntary. But anyway, if you guys loved and appreciated John Cena's career, like I said, obviously the retirement tour wasn't perfect. Like I said, I gave it like a 6 out of 10 at best. Six, I ain't gonna say 6, 7, but 6 out of 10 at best. I feel, because even though there were great matches like with AJ Styles and the rematch with Cody at SummerSlam, and it was a good match he had with Punk and a fun match with Randy Orton. Even the Rumble in the Chamber was really good and fun. I just felt, in the fun stuff he did with Dominic in the rematch, more the rematch than the first one. I felt the second, well, it was great seeing him be a Grand Slam champion, but the second one was where a lot of the fun was. But anyway, yeah, terrible match at WrestlePalooza, terrible match at WrestleMania, like, But anyway, it is what it is, man. He got to face a lot of his opponents. Even R-Truth got in there. Sami Zayn got in there to have a match with him, but Logan Paul even got a match, which is pretty cool, just because it's dope seeing somebody that comes from my world be able to kind of make their dream come true of becoming a wrestler and actually doing it well and getting a match with John Cena. Like, that's freaking like crazy. But anyway, if you love and enjoy the career of John Cena, and at the end of the day, it's not perfect. Like, we all know that throughout Cena's entire career, it's had its highs and it's had its lows. But at the end of the day, we still love and respect him. He is the greatest, to me, WWE superstar of all time. I still give Rock the greatest of all time, but I don't think anybody's had a better WWE career than John Cena. I've said that before. He's gotten to mix up with so many people, so many rivalries. Like, I don't think anybody has had a better run than John Cena. And obviously no one's done it that long at that high of a level. So he definitely is the WWE GOAT for sure. But love and appreciate John Cena, man. Love you, John. Thank you, John Cena. If you were able to see this video ever, thank you, bro. We love and appreciate all the years you put in, depending on how long you go on to be on Earth and things like that. I mean, to give 25 years of your life, like, that's more, it depending on how long you live, of course, that's more than a quarter of your life given to wrestling. I mean, by the time he turns 50, which is in 2 years, that's half of his life was wrestling. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that is just absolutely insane. And just thank John Cena, man, for just all of what he did throughout the good and the bad of times of WWE. Like, the fact that he loved wrestling so much that he was even the face of the company when everybody was like crapping on the company, like in that 2010, 11, 12 times, man, which I grew up on and love what I saw. But at the end of the day, people was hating on the brand at that point because it was too PG and all this other stuff. But shout out to John for just showing his love for wrestling and just sticking it through, man. So hopefully all these future NXT stars, man, all become great. Love Javon Evans, like what Sol Ruka's been doing, all that good stuff. So hopefully Obafemi's great. Like, hopefully all these guys have a bright and great future. We love you, John Cena. Hopefully you realize how much of an impact you made on people's lives. And I know you try to be a humble guy, but you've impacted a lot of people's lives in a positive way, man. And I hope you realize that. You can't get everybody to like you, but at the end of the day, for the people you have moved and affected, you know more than anybody that those are the people that matter. You truly did, rise above hate. And even though you gave up tonight, for a long time, you never gave up. And it's crazy to think that we had Triple H. He must have had something against John, because why he had John turn heel and give up in the same year. Two things that had nothing to do with, like, John in his prime. Two things he was against, right? Being a bad guy and giving up. I mean, Triple H said, "Oh, we'll kill two birds with one stone. We'll do both of those things in 1 year." But anyway, hopefully the future's bright for the rest of the superstars. I was emotional, of course, at first, but I'm happy that it's over, just because now we can look forward to the future of the company, man. But anyway, love and appreciate you all. We'll see what happens for Gunther. I'm sure he's going to get nuclear heat, and good for him. Like, I'm not even against Gunther beating him. I just wouldn't have done the tap out. But anyway, I love and appreciate you guys. Y'all let me know what y'all thought. And at the end of the day, we're going to say this what it is, and what it's going to be is the certified prodigy who didn't keep you under 30 minutes. Continue to come out with the content, the videos, the bangers over and over again for you guys. Doing my thing and doing it well. And I shall see you on the next video. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your best friend. And I shall see y'all in the next video, man. That's the vibe that DJ's on. You going to like it as I see you in the next one, man.